Well, up to $50 million a year is spent on treating obesity and related problems in Australia. And today, parents had their say on those junk food ads they believe are contributing to the issue. Experts say we need to go further than simply banning them. They're now calling for a junk food tax. We'll have more on that in a moment. But first, let's take a look at some of the best and the worst as voted by parents and experts today.
These moments we share will always be so special to me.
One of them, sooner or later, just who's going to make the
First, you twist it. Then you lick it. Then you dunk it. Not yet. A double stuffed Oreo has twice the cream, so you have to keep licking it for longer.
When it comes to energy snacks, there's no-nos and there's no-nos. A chemical high, that's a no-no.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it too.
And me.
I'm doing it, and I'm hoping I might win one of these.
That's bananas. I'm going to do it too. Do what? The Gutsy Challenge.
Joining us now to discuss these advertisements is researcher and health economist Dr. Tracy Comans from Griffith University. Doctor, thank you for your time tonight. How much of the blame here must fall to advertisers and how much should fall instead to parents?
Well, good evening, Matt. Well, I think we've got to lay some blame on the advertisers. We're now, as a society, looking at 2/3 of our population being overweight or obese. So I think it's maybe time we stop blaming individuals for the problem and looked at our wider society. What are the problems that are causing this, and how can we act to change this and turn this around?
Doctor, it's heartbreaking to think that in Australia there are children obese even up to the age of just 5, and that sad statistic is going to form the basis of a new study of yours?
Absolutely. So we've found now from previous studies in Australia that possibly 5 to 8% of children are turning up to school already in what we'd consider the obese category. And we know that once we're obese, it's really difficult to lose weight, as anyone who's tried to knows. So we're looking at the issue of these children tracking through their whole school time being obese and then going on to be obese adults. And that can cause very large healthcare costs for us in the future.
So let's look at the issue of perhaps a blanket ban on these ads. Is it warranted, and I suppose how quickly could it be implemented?
I think it's absolutely warranted. I mean, as I said, I see the problem as being similar to problems we've tackled with smoking and to a lesser extent with alcohol, and that the same criteria or the same methods that we've used could be successful, and one of those would be a ban on advertising junk food. I'm not sure how fast that could be implemented. That's obviously a policy decision for government to go down, but I think it's an important step in the right direction.
And just on government, what role do you believe the government has to play in putting a tax on say, fatty foods?
Well, the government would be the ones to put a tax on, so that would have to be the policy that they would pursue, and it's not necessarily going to be fatty foods. And what we're looking at in our study is how do we define junk foods? It's not easy to actually define them. We kind of know what it is when we see it. But unlike alcohol and tobacco, which are pretty clear, there's a lot of grey areas in junk food.
Some big decisions ahead. Dr. Tracy Comans from the Griffith University, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Matt.